I'm Mira Murati, CTO of OpenAI.
And former CEO?
Yes, for 2 days. Sora is our video generation model. It is just based on a text prompt, and it creates this hyper-realistic, beautiful, highly detailed videos of 1 minute length.
How does Sora work?
It's fundamentally a diffusion model, which is a type of generative model. It creates a more distilled image starting from random noise. If you think about filmmaking, people have to make sure that each frame continues into the next frame with this sense of consistency between objects and people. And that's what gives you a sense of realism and a sense of presence. And if you break that between frames, then you get this disconnected sense and reality is no longer there. And so this is what Sora does really well.
What data was used to train Sora?
We used publicly available data and licensed data.
So videos on YouTube?
I'm actually not sure about that.
Okay. Videos from Facebook, Instagram?
You know, if they were publicly available, publicly available to use, there might be the data, but I'm not sure. Yeah. I'm not confident about it.
What about Shutterstock? I know you guys have a deal with them.
I'm just not going to go into the details of the data that was used, but it was publicly available or licensed data. Our goal was to really focus on developing the best capability, and now we will start looking into optimizing the technology so people can use it at low cost and make it easy to use.
To create these, you must be using a lot of computing power. Can you give me a sense of how much computing power to create something like that versus a ChatGPT response or a Dalle image?
ChatGPT and Dalle are optimized for the public to be using them, whereas Sora is really a research output. It's much, much more expensive. We don't know what it's going to look like exactly when we make it available eventually to the public, but we're trying to make it available at similar cost eventually to what we saw with Dalle.
You said eventually. When is eventually?
I'm hoping, yeah, definitely this year, but could be a few months.
There's an election in November. You think before or after that?
You know, that's certainly a consideration, dealing with the issues of misinformation and harmful bias. And we will not be releasing anything that we don't feel confident on when it comes to how it might affect global elections or other issues.
What are things that just you won't be able to generate with this?
Well, we haven't made those decisions yet, but I think there will be consistency on our platform. So similarly to Dalle, where you can't generate images of public figures, I expect that we'll have a similar policy for Sora. And right now we're in discovery mode and we haven't figured out exactly where all the limitations are and how we'll navigate our way around them.
What about nudity?
I'm not sure. You can imagine that, you know, there are creative settings in which artists might want to have more control over that. And right now we are working with artists and creators from different fields to figure out exactly what's useful, what level of flexibility should the tool provide.
How do you make sure the people who are testing these products aren't being inundated with illicit or harmful content?
That's certainly difficult, and in the very early stages it is part of red teaming, something that you have to take into account and make sure that people are willing and able to do it. When we work with contractors, we go much further into that process, but that is certainly something difficult.
We're laughing at some of these videos right now, but people in the video industry may not be laughing in a few years when this type of technology is impacting their jobs.
You know, the way that I see it is this is a tool for extending creativity, and we want people in the film industry, creators everywhere, to be a part of informing how we develop it further, and also how we deploy it. And also, what are the economics around using these models when people are contributing data and stuff.
Going to tell the difference between what is real video and what is AI video.
We're doing research in watermarking the videos, but really figuring out content provenance and how do you trust what is real content versus something that happened in reality versus, content created for misinformation. And this is the reason why we're actually not deploying the systems yet, because we need to figure out these issues before we can confidently deploy them broadly. It's not really a difficult demand or a difficult balance between profit and safety guardrails. I'd say the hard part is really figuring out the safety questions and the societal questions. That's really what keeps me up at night.
There's this amazement about the product, but then we've also talked about all of these concerns. Is it worth it?
It's definitely worth it. AI tools will extend our creativity and knowledge, collective imagination, ability to do anything. It's going to be extremely hard along the way to figure out the right path to bringing AI tools into our day-to-day reality, but I think it's definitely worth trying.